race. I mean, this is a pins and needles morning. This is interesting. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 states that are undecided this morning. And by the numbers are, oh my gosh, it's unbelievable. I have an interactive map in front of me that is really great.
I'm Dick Hafner, WJR News. And now, Paul W. Smith.
The Paul W. Smith Show, News Talk 760, WJR.
Good Wednesday morning to you. It's the middle of the week. It's the morning after the election that will not end. And it's also, Dana?
Yeah, it's hump day. Everything's right with the world, Paul.
That was pretty enthusiastic, though.
Dana. It is hump day, November 4th, the 309th day of 2020. There are 57 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. And the Secretary of State said this morning that Michigan election results could be known in 24 hours. What we can say is, good job, USA, good job, Michigan, because more people voted probably than ever before. I haven't seen anybody say what the statistics are, but I'm going to say that more people voted in the country than memory serves me. But we've got the team that worked last night and into the morning hours, and one of us slept at the radio station. That would not have been me. It would have been Dick Hafner, our WJR news director, who has a beautiful suite of offices there at the Fisher Building. In fact, now he has maybe 30, 40 offices
to choose from.
That king-size bed was just perfect.
Very nice. Very, very nice, Dick. You continue to do a good job, as does Ann, who worked last night with Guy and put that whole thing together. Under the worst of circumstances, you did the best of jobs. Dana Clark is here, checking out traffic, weather, movies, restaurants, opinions, and all. Brian Morton is in the booth there at the Golden Tower of the Fisher Building, which is very soon to be renamed the Brian Morton Tower. Just by virtue of, he's there, he gets to claim it. Mm-hmm. He who's there and claims it, claims it. So Brian's doing that. Kim checking in from the southernmost portion of Michigan. And, of course, as we mentioned, Ann Thomas. Our executive producer who runs the show by the clock happens to be a grandfather's clock, which we can tell from now until 6:15 when we come to you by all means necessary with pictures and audio. Not just 760 on the AM dial, but on our social media channels as well, which we're always on, but we do the first part of the morning, our round table on camera. So, Dick,
Happy
give us
Wednesday,
what's that?
Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Happy post-election day.
Happy almost post-election day. On this day in 2008, November 4th, Democrat Barack Obama was elected the first black president of the United States, defeating Republican John McCain. Interesting. When the Republicans put someone up that they shouldn't have, but felt that he earned it, John McCain, there was no chance he was going to beat Barack Obama. And if President Trump had just done a few things in a smarter way, or his people done a few things in a smarter way, he certainly would have beaten the bumbling Joe Biden. But of course, he didn't do that. And therefore, I do believe he's not going to win. But we'll see. We'll just see how it all turns out. We don't know yet, do we? That's the beauty.
Nope.
We do not know. But it is 5:43, and some of us have an inkling. Let's take care of a little business at 5:43.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are becoming desperate. Join Compassion International and provide for a family in poverty. Make your one-time $40 gift. Text HOPE to 83393.
All righty, let's check it. Our WJR traffic and weather first, and Miss Dana Clark.
Well, just looking around here, Paul W., not seeing any accidents, no delays, just those orange barrels lodged northbound between 9 Mile and Evergreen. It is closed there. The left lane is shut down through November 7th, but there's daily work there. Those left two lanes closed from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
Real good looking, good feeling weather over the next few days. Warm up coming. Clear sky this morning. That warm up starts today with a southwest breeze, 68. Tonight, some clouds, 51. 40s in the outlying areas. Thursday becoming cloudy, 64. Friday, sunshine back with highs in the upper 60s. From a Weather Channel, meteorologist Ray Stagik on News Talk 760 WJR.
All righty, we're looking at colder temperatures. Now, it doesn't seem as cold. What's the current temperature, would you guess?
It is 46.
46 degrees. I think it was about 43. I don't believe that my body could tell 3 degrees difference, but for whatever, when I went out and got the paper, it didn't seem as cold, at least. Meanwhile, we have Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3, who has said publicly he didn't think he would live to see the election, and he was thrilled that he did, and we're thrilled that he did as well. He is usually here from noon to 3. And Rush checks in first thing in the morning, like right now.
Before Election Day, the Illinois National Guard was called up in Chicago. Fox News reported Massachusetts had also activated their guard. In Oregon, where riots never stop, the National Guard was activated as well. In Washington, D.C., Black Lives Matter and Shut Down D.C. activists have been planning what they call the next phase of the election cycle, which happens in the streets. A planning session video mapped out police stations, government buildings, media outlets, and buildings supposedly occupied by Trump boosters. The session leader warned of war and people being killed. In blue cities across the country, business owners boarded up their establishments, afraid of Democrat violence if the election doesn't go the way local activists want. Against that backdrop came an odd story. Reuters warned that Election Day Trump train caravans could be a big security concern, according to experts. Reuters checked Facebook and found a dozen or so Trump caravans planned for today, Election Day. Well, yesterday. And that was the big concern. A Trump caravan was even scheduled to drive past a Maryland voting center. Antifa, Black Lives Matter, Shut Down D.C., other leftist groups have already shown us how violent they are. We know where the threat of violence is coming from and why. We don't need media experts to tell us it's coming from the left. It's not coming from the Trump right.
Rush Limbaugh, noon to 3 today, right here on WJR.
Okay, so Dubster,
yes, ma'am.
there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 undecided states right now.
All dependent on mail-in ballots?
It looks like that to me, yes.
I rest my case.
At the moment, Nevada and Arizona, Joe Biden is leading in those two states. He is now leading by a narrow margin in Wisconsin. At the moment, with 79% of the results in, Donald Trump is leading in Michigan. 79, 80% in. Then you have 3 other states. Pennsylvania, only 74% of the vote is in. Donald Trump is leading. North Carolina, 95% of the vote is in. Donald Trump is leading. And in Georgia, 92% of the vote is in. Donald Trump is leading. Now, the road to the White House for Joe Biden is if Joe Biden were to win Nevada and Arizona, where he's currently leading, and if you go with your theory that it's the mail-in ballots that will be mostly Democrat, he'll probably win Nevada and Arizona. Same for Wisconsin. In my opinion, Michigan is the road to the White House for Joe Biden. And if Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, and Nevada went Biden, he would get his 270. Now, I'd like to see what Dick thinks of my analysis. But I don't think Dick can hear us.
He can't hear unless we're on the air.
Unless we're on the air.
Note again, for whatever reason. Hey, on a happier note, Bon. Did we have them on Opportunity Detroit or the regular show?
Op Detroit.
Well, that woman sent this most unusual packaging box to my house.
Ooh.
Good people deserve good chocolate. Have such a bon day. Bon.
Dark chocolate?
Well, it depends. They're, gee, where did they all go? They are amazing little individual boxes.
Cute.
That
Yeah.
are hand packed, and then they have different names as to what they are. They hand signed from the people who made them and packed them.
How cool.
So they're really very cool. Like this says, speaking of dark chocolate, dark up, bon flavor 43. It says dark chocolate ganache, dark chocolate shavings, dark chocolate drizzle.
Oh my God.
The answer is yes, dark chocolate. Lots of them, but they're very cool.
You're hearing the Paul
Great
W.
little
Smith
gift
Show.
idea from
News
Bob.
Talk
Great idea.
760 WJR.
More great ingenuity in Detroit as we continue at 5:49. Not on the edge of our seats because we have a little while to go. The Secretary of State said that we should know. This was at 2:20 this morning, and it was time to say. Well, it was updated at 2:20 this morning. That was around the time that I said, you know what? There's nothing happening here. But the problem is, I knew that at like 7:00 last night. But because I am an animal of what is it?
Creature of habit.
Creature of habits, better way to put it. Yeah, I'm an animal too, but creature of habit that I even stayed up and watched these people, these talking heads, go back and forth and do all this stuff that was pretty meaningless. But it was exciting, as Ann has pointed out. She worked and did it, and you get things being sent to you. For example, if I were the announcer, ladies and gentlemen, the possible president of the United States. I don't think I can do it with
No
this.
answer.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Anybody get that? Did anybody get the
No.
highly potential president of the United States?
No.
This is the wrong mic to do it with, but it keeps stopping when I bring it up to my mouth. Yeah, forget it. I'll do it with the other microphone later. It's truly unbelievable. The man is incoherent, and he will be possibly very.
I disagree. I strongly disagree.
I disagree. I just played it. It was not. I didn't make that up. That's right on the campaign.
Okay. Well, first of all,
You've certainly seen all the different recordings of all those times that he's done that.
Well, I think we have a close competition if you want to talk about people just talking and saying anything.
Strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
Seriously,
That's
he's going to organize.
doing all.
The last part is Jim Carrey. They just added it on.
So,
Yeah.
I'm talking about what he did say, though. We are going to mobilize true nalimana mama preserver.
okay. Well,
You know what that is, don't you?
I just said, of course, I understand it. Just like a kid who's young, who talks, and only the parent knows what they're saying. Anyway, he does have a stuttering problem. So
Well, that's not the stutter.
let's
never have I.
remember that he does sometimes get his words mixed up or say the wrong figure when he means something else. So, but anywho.
I'm interested in digging into these figures a little bit, though. Dick, I was saying to Paul in the break that I think that the key states at this point this morning would be Wisconsin and Michigan, because it looks like Joe Biden is going to win Nevada and Arizona if the final results come in like we think they will. What do you think? I think the road to the White House for Joe Biden could be right here in Michigan.
It very well could be. What about Pennsylvania? I have not looked at Pennsylvania for about 30 minutes.
This morning, I have Pennsylvania 74% of the votes counted, and Donald Trump is leading 55.7%, 43%. but you've got
All right.
about
Still too close.
20% plus
25%
not
absentee ballots. No, I don't call Pennsylvania.
Not yet. No. Mm-mm.
20
7
electoral
states,
votes there.
7 undecided states this morning, and I think it's going to be an interesting day.
It's going to go right down to whatever the last state is. It looks like this is going to be a bottom of the ninth. This is going to go down to the bottom of the ninth inning.
The Detroit News headline: Nation hangs in the balance. The Detroit Free Press: Nation in suspense. USA Today: a tense nation wonders what's next. Historic numbers of ballots cast amid fears of chaos at polls and pandemic. And I don't know where all that came from, but it started in our upper echelons of politics, especially in Lansing. But Michigan voters fear post-election violence and foreign interference. What about all those reports last night of that foreign interference and all that violence at the polls? People getting beat up as they were going to vote, people aiming their guns at people, telling them if they didn't vote for Trump, they'd shoot them. Boy, that was scary, wasn't it? Oh, wait a minute. That only happened in the minds of our upper leaders in Michigan who said that was going to happen. Nobody I met who went to vote feared for their lives going to vote.
Actually, Paul, it was a really great night as far as we can tell.
Yes, it was, in spite of the warnings that we were given to make us even more frightened.
The good news
and
is
paint a picture that did not exist.
Yeah, the good news this morning, we're waking up.
The good news is what?
Pretty calm. The good news this morning is that we're waking up and things are pretty calm.
They were all excellent.
Yes, it was a very nice day. So that's good.
There was nothing to worry about. But the worry was put through there because it was effective in carrying on the narrative. But the Trump people have never did a good job of correcting the narrative. Man, it's frustrating. All he had to do was be semi-bright in his reaction to COVID, which became the issue. They couldn't get him through Russian collusion. They couldn't get him through a Ukraine phone call, but boy, did they get him through the most highly politicized virus in the history of mankind, and they just didn't know how to deal with it. They didn't know how to handle it. They did not make it clear to people the way they should have at how great the economy was going, how good things were doing. I don't know why they didn't make it so crystal clear that the economy went south because of the way that governors and mayors in certain cities and states shut down the economy. I just don't understand why they didn't do so many things that seemed very obvious.
Well, because this was a pandemic, I don't know who could have controlled it.
Well, nobody could have controlled it, but they allowed the Democrats to place them in a position of not controlling it properly and that they did a terrible job, rather than pointing out, this is all they could have done, and they did everything they could. But of course, the president didn't do that, and just his time wasted on masks and turning that into a political problem was just stupid. I mean, there's no other way to put it.
Your N95 mask idea still is there on the board. It hasn't happened yet. Why don't we have those surgical masks in our hands?
It's ridiculous that if I go online, I can buy all I want from Korea and China. I mean, that's just ridiculous. If I'd been president, I would have gotten 50 of those masks in everyone's hand in the United States that wanted them. Every one of them. But that never even came close to being anything that happened.
Then we know who to run in 2024, don't we?
Not even a chance. Not even a slight chance. It is 5:57 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are becoming desperate. Join Compassion International and provide for a family in poverty. Make your one-time $40 gift. Text HOPE to 83393.
My friends, let's not forget to be grateful. And as annoying as it is that these false concerns were put out there, of all the things that were going to go wrong, let's be grateful that we got through the most incredible election and all on the positive side. That's the part that we have to remember. We got through it all. There wasn't any of the trouble that we were promised there would be for political reasons. But we got through it all and showed them that we are far better than that. Let's find out how we're doing with our WJR traffic and weather. Miss Dana Clark.
Doing great out there. Just looking at construction along the Southfield Freeway northbound at Michigan Ave. Single lane closure scheduled through early November. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel. Another great day ahead. Clear skies, 46 degrees. We'll add 20 to that, going up to 66. Lots of sunshine. Not bad tonight. Clear to partly cloudy. Your low 51. I'm Dana Clark, WJR News with Dick Hafner in 1 minute.
All righty. Brian, I saw your note, but I've never seen you put through exactly what our time is that we have to hit. So that would be really, really helpful if we're going to hit the network. So with this new network, I don't know what time they need it. If the old network, it was 30. I don't know what it is here. So if you could tell me that, I'll be more than happy to hit it, unless you're talking about straight up. So I'm still not getting the time. So I'm going to hit it straight up and let it go right to the network if indeed it does go straight up. I'm still looking at your side, private chat, don't have it. So I'll just say this is News Talk 760 WJR, the great voice of the Great Lakes.
WJR Detroit and WTBD HD2 Detroit. 760 W.
There we go. Hey,
Yeah.
Deb, the other
What is the time we're supposed to hit for the network? That's not anywhere here.
I need to defer to Brian on that because you're right. It might be a little bit different than normal. Let's see. Okay.
It is. I don't know how long the cut is at the top.
Of the hour hits straight up. Bottom hits at 30:30. But Brian, do you want us for an ID to be hitting it at 29 something? I mean, or 59:50, or what we're looking for that time? Going toward another interesting discussion here, though. This race is so close this morning that I think that people actually, there's an incredible amount of people who came out and voted for the president. And it doesn't seem
they did.
The pandemic really counted. It seems to me that they cared about the economy, that they still voted on the economy.
Mm-hmm.
And they should have, because the truth is the economy was fabulous.
But if it was people coming out on the pandemic, then I don't think it would be as close as it is. I think people would be, so frustrated about the pandemic. But I think what's happening here is there is a tremendous number of people that voted for Donald Trump again or for the first time. I mean, this is really close.
That's true.
So I don't think they did everything wrong. I think this is fascinating. I mean, we have no idea who could win. And remember, even though a lot of those mail-ins are Democrat votes, we know a lot of people that voted by mail that are Republican.
Yes, quite a lot. Quite a lot of Republicans voted by mail. So you can't say until it's over.
The facts are that more Democrats voted by mail. That's a fact. It's not me.
That's fine.
Hypothesizing.
It's fine if it's a fact. But what does it matter? It's a vote. So it doesn't determine who is going to win at the moment.
It is going to determine who's going to win.
And if it does determine
all the other votes are counted. They're only waiting to count the mail-in ballots, which we talked about, and I said would be the determining factor on who wins. And if they are the determining factor and more Democrats voted by mail and early than Republicans, then one could surmise that the Democrats will win, especially in a close vote like this. I'm not saying that's what I want. I'm just making observations. And I'm also saying that I watched the Trump machine, and the president was great, and he did all those great rallies. It was, in my opinion, too little, too late, and he was surrounded by people who apparently ignored what was happening with the early voting push by the Democrats.
So
They
are you
controlled
thinking,
it.
let me ask this. Are you thinking that Republicans should have pushed harder to have more people, more Republicans doing mail-in voting too?
I think that they should have been aware and reacted to the fact that where last time the Republicans were brilliant, his team or he was, whoever made the decision, to run for the Electoral College, where we saw Mrs. Clinton get more votes, but he won because he won the right votes for the Electoral College. Well, he's kind of getting, I don't know, when I went to bed, he had about 2 million more votes than Biden, but Biden was smoking him on the Electoral College. It was like, what happened to him?
But now this morning, Biden has more actual votes too, than Trump. But what I'm saying is, if a mail-in ballot is a great idea, especially during COVID, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican. So how could, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Well,
how
I'm only
could
saying
everybody to be involved in that.
I'm only saying that the Democrats did more voting by mail than the Republicans because that's what we've been told.
Yeah, I get that, but I'm just saying an awful lot of Republicans also voted by mail, in large measure due to COVID.
But what my question is, does it matter? If you vote in line or if you vote absentee or early, whatever they call it,
No,
a vote is a vote. So why does it matter who did early, who did it in line? In the end, it's all our votes.
That's
so it just takes longer. We have to wait longer because of that. That's the only argument.
But I think Paul is saying that the Republicans should have marshaled the crowd earlier.
But it wouldn't matter.
And you're right. It may not have still mattered.
If they marshaled the crowd earlier, it still would have been their vote for their candidate. So why does it, to me, it doesn't matter. It's a vote.
Here's what mattered. They knew of certain situations and circumstances, for example, about the Biden family and their enterprises, and pushing that at the end was certainly meaningless to the 80 million, 70 million maybe, who at that point had voted already. It ended up 102 million, but 60, 70 million votes ago is when they came up with the idea about what happened with the Bidens and their family. When I talked about the real estate issue months ago, no one cared. So people just decided to go along with whoever they decided to go along with. And if a vote for Joe Biden is a vote for
the Paul W. Smith Show, News Talk 760 WJR.
It is Wednesday, or as Dana likes to say,
it's hump day.
Woo-hoo! Hump day indeed, over the political hump and through the woods as we carry on this Wednesday, November 4th, the 309th day of 2020. There are 57 days left in the year. Make each and every day count. Each day is a gift. As we continue on this day after the election where we don't know who has won, there's no real way of knowing until they count all of the ballots, as has been pointed out, whether you voted in person or through the mail, absentee or early or whatever you want to call it. Every one of those votes should be counted. And as it stands right now, before people start throwing lawyers around, everyone will be counted. And we will find out by Thursday or Friday in Michigan, I guess.
I think maybe sooner.
Maybe today, the end of today or middle of today, we'll find out. Just have to stay tuned to WJR, and we will be able to have that information for you. Dick Hafner, our WJR news director, handling the news the way it was meant to be and doing a nice job last night. He and Ann and Guy bringing you information. As I sat and listened and watched, I thought, why am I doing this? Since it doesn't really matter. We knew we weren't going to have the answer, no matter what. We knew that at the beginning of the night, and we know it at the end of the night and into this early morning. So we'll figure it out, and we'll have a lot of these offices or races to watch. We'll have some answers. for you here. Looks like Haley Stevens is losing, but that's before all of the mail-in ballots. I can't see with closed captioning off. I cannot see the
Slotkin is also
Slotkin
down.
is losing. The number was covered by my the 50.2% for Paul Young was covered by my closed captioning. Closed captioning is a blessing and a curse. For moments like that, it was a curse. I need it on because I can't have the volume on, but I couldn't see the final figures. So anyway, there's some races out there that people are very concerned with, other than the main one, President of the United States. All right, Dick Kafner here, handling the news and more. Dana Clark, traffic and weather. We appreciate your work on that, Dana. Brian Morton is running the controls, and we're trying to get a handle on hitting the network properly after we get through the traffic and everything else. So, Ann, you're right. That's a tough one to kind of weigh because we have to go to the traffic just before the top of the hour. So as soon as I hear the traffic sounder, we will stop doing whatever we're doing and defer to braking for that if we have a chance of hitting those network feeds at the top of the hour and the bottom of the hour. Meanwhile, Kim checking in from the southernmost part of Michigan, and our executive producer running the show by the clock, Ann Thomas, who did a fine job last night producing the coverage for the elections. What's really stood out for you, Annie, last night?
Oh, well, just how slow everything was coming in. It's kind of like at first, things were moving pretty well. And then about in the middle of the night, it's like somebody hit the pause button. And all of a sudden it was just like, okay, I think this is going to be a long night and a very long day today. So kind of the same things that probably stood out for everyone that, Paul, you're right. The mail-in voting is crucial here, and it's just going to be interesting to watch it play out. We do have somebody who is a winner this morning that has been called as Fred Upton.
Good old Fred Upton. Good old Fred.
So Fred is a winner this morning. Debbie Dingle is a winner this morning. Some of these races they're able to call because a certain percentage of the vote is in, but many of them were just kind of in a holding pattern. The pause button remains on.
Well, if you think about it, when I said yesterday, day before, I hope nobody tells us anything until they actually know, until all the votes were in. Of course, the networks couldn't help themselves. All of us couldn't help ourselves. We were giving out information while other people were still voting in other areas. And it really, I don't know what we were trying to accomplish by doing that.
We're trying to defeat human nature, which is not possible.
Yeah. Well, in the same thing where we were told we should be scared because of the post-election violence and the foreign interference and all of that. I am thankful that the people of the United States of America, those not involved in the political gamesmanship, did everything exactly the way they were supposed to. We went to the polls and voted, or we went to the clerk, or we took our mail-in ballots, we filled them out, and we mailed them back just as we were supposed to. And the mail carriers did their best to get those pieces of mail to the post office and then to the people they had to go to. And so the American people did not fail at all.
Good job, America. Highest voting ever.
Beautiful. And that's
the great
what we've
thing.
always wanted. That's what we've always wanted, and we got it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore, we will never go back, pandemic or not. We will be seeing millions and millions and millions of us doing the early voting, which will then lead to other ideas of how we handle all this stuff. This is the first time. So you have to give all the secretaries of state, all the poll workers, all the counters, all the this and all the that's, poll watchers, I guess, give them credit for everything going as smoothly as it did. I have a sad note that I have had for a few days, but I, out of respect, did not bring it up. But a great woman has been lost after a fabulous life. There's not enough things I can say about Betty Jean Ahee. the matriarch of the Ahee family that I've talked about for 25 years here on WJR. And I mentioned Edmund before his passing and after. And I mentioned Betty Jean, who up until her death went to work every day. But she unexpectedly, remember, we wished her a happy 91st birthday last week, unexpectedly passed away. And it's just a horrible loss. It's a great life affecting so many people and raising a fabulous family. We will pay further tribute to Betty Jean Ahee as the days go by. 6:13 at WJR.
This report is sponsored by Compassion International.
We're all feeling the weight of COVID-19, but for kids in poverty around the world, things are becoming desperate. Join Compassion International and provide for a family in poverty. Make your one-time $40 gift. Text HOPE to 83393.
Let's check in our WJR traffic and weather first. Dana Clark.
Looking at construction, Paul, W75 traveling northbound between 7 Mile and Adams. The left lane is closed. Only 2 lanes open. That's scheduled through November 15th. So starting today at 7 a.m., traffic scheduled to be reduced to just 1 lane until 5 p.m. on Thursday. Now, WJR weather first from the Weather Channel.
We are clear this morning and sunshine winning in a big way as we get into the afternoon. A light southwest breeze, 68. Tonight, some clouds, 51, 40s in the suburbs. Tomorrow, overcast but dry, 64. Friday, sunshine with highs in the upper 60s. From a Weather Channel meteorologist Ray Stajic on News Talk 760 WJR.